Hi, Denise. Let's see what I can tell you about finding a deep connection with someone. I like to speak things into existence. So what I'm going to do is instead of asking the cards if you're going to find it, I'm going to ask the cards, what do you need to do to find it? How can you support yourself on the journey to finding a deep best friend connection? Let's see what comes up. Number 1, our first card, you are good enough. This can indicate possibly a little bit of a lack of confidence. This doesn't mean that you aren't a confident person. It just means that there may be a part of you that you kind of hide away or that you lack confidence in, and that is going to be a place where you really need to bolster yourself, okay? This is a full moon in Virgo. The full moon is going to deal with things that have already kind of started to come to fruition. If you think of this like a cycle, right? You're down here, you're planting seeds, you're in the planting stage, that's the new moon, and then you start to do the work, and you get up to the full moon, that's the peak of the mountain, and then you have to climb back down. This side is your rest and recoup cycle. So this is something that's been a long time coming for you, okay? This is something you've done a lot of work for. So possibly, rather than a lack of confidence, this might indicate that you are finally coming to the point of confidence where you're able to support this kind of deep connection, okay? That's also in Virgo. Virgo likes to think in the here and now, in the present, not in our emotional world, but rather in our tangible material world, okay? So making sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to make those connections, making sure we're not staying home and that we're going out into the world where our friends would be, okay? Now let's see, we're going to do 3 cards. Let's see what else comes up. We have a new start is coming. Again, it's that new moon. So for your new start, for your next chapter, the question is going to be, what do you want that to look like, right? Oftentimes we forget that we are the drivers in this scenario, we're the main characters. So it's up to us to create that next chapter in a way that we want it to look, okay? Once again, very empowering energy for you. And our last card, a new romantic cycle begins. Now, this doesn't mean romance like a love connection, okay? This means more like when spring first hits, everything is really revitalized, right? It's renewed and refreshed. All the animals are starting to have babies again. There's a fertile energy. What we're seeing here as a new moon is that this next chapter for you is going to be very fertile and ready for those friend connections, okay? This is a great time to plant seeds for a new friendship. This is also in Libra. Libra's the scales, right? It's all about balance. So how can you keep this in balance? That means being true to yourself while also being open and vulnerable for new friendships and new connections, okay? Overall, you have a beautiful spread here, things that have come to fruition or are coming to fruition, and new chapters starting out ahead of you. I would say that it's important not to self-limit. So the ways that we might self-limit ourselves when it comes to friendships is, like I said, not being willing to go out and find friends, you know what I mean? But also, really, you want to be leading with vulnerability. You want to be leading with the idea that you want friends, okay? It can be hard to not be sort of closed off, especially if you've had sort of difficult connections in the past. We want to be guarded and we want to protect ourselves from disappointment and all of that. But in order to find this deep, meaningful connection that you're looking for, I think that really leading with openness and leading, like I said, with that vulnerability is going to be so important. Overall, like I said, you have full moon leading into new moon. So what I would ask you is, if you're in between, let me grab my deck again. If you're in between kind of a full moon and a new moon, you're in this rest and recuperation phase. Everything over here is all about, what did I do well? What did I do not so well? What can I change in the future? This is all about, what am I carrying that I no longer, that's no longer serving me? So if you find that you're carrying any traumas from old friendships or any expectations, especially from old friendships, this is the time for you to be letting go of that to move back into a fresh cycle, okay? Again, I know that the word romance is kind of freaky when we're talking about friends, but it's not that romantic energy like you find with friends. It's more like that you find with partners, excuse me. It's more just that energy of openness, right? Sort of a newlywed energy between you and the universe, not necessarily between you and another person. Okay, so overall it looks really, really good, very open, and I'm so excited for you. Keep up the faith that you will find this connection that you're looking for, okay? It might come when you least expect it. Thank you so much. And I also wanted to say thank you for coming to my Paint Your Spirit Guides class. It was so great to have you. And I'm so happy that you enjoyed it and that you got your free reading from me. Hope to see you again in the future. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.